So the auto solo is in about 2 weeks, and we need to get my MGZR sorted with a few extra mechanical alterations that we need to sort. So, to get into easier to win class, we've gone and fitted non-height adjustable shunts, front and rear. We still need to change over the steering wheel to the Takata shrapnel airbag. I know, sucks to be me, I guess. We also need to fix the toe out. We're going to add a bit more toe out. 1 washer's safe. 2 washers safe. When you start seeing these fucking guys with VWs and stuff adding goddamn 5 washers, mate, chill out. Oh my god! Okay, see these back here? There are those 4 bolts there. And then release the washers that are already in there. And then we're going to fit in some other ones that I've got. So I'm going to go and take those bottom ones out, and you're going to sit here and watch. Do camber plates exist for this car? Yes, they do. It's like, why didn't I just buy those off the shelf? Well, I'll explain. So, the kits for these are basically just for show. They aren't really performance related. The kits that are available are either 1.5 degrees or 2.5 degrees. 2.5 degrees is way too much. Hell, even like 1.5 degrees is almost too much. And that's with like 0 toe adjustment. You don't get a choice in that. And we want about a minute on either side. That's about what we're after. Now for an example of what some people will do. So what some people do is, here is your normal torsion beam. Again, look, this is where the rear suspension usually comes down for a Civic, and they just sent it straight up into the chassis leg. Chop the centre out here, and then what would happen is they would then cut like a little bit extra out of each side or something like that, and then hammer it in, or they would have it chopped, realign the two, and then this would effectively, instead of being a flat line, it would become a warped bar. Then what they would do is go in and re-weld the outside, inner and outer, and they would weld this up. And what that then does is effectively gets them exactly what we're trying to do here. Now, there are 2 problems with that. One, adjustability. You can't fine-tune it. I mean, you can always chop out, but you can't chop out and be perfect. It's a lot more of a job of, that's close enough. And then you're also putting stress on these bushes down here, which isn't really too bad. You know, you can get power flex ones, so that's fine. And number 2, this is 9 times out of 10 going to be heat-treated metal. What does that mean with heat-treated metal? Well, I'll explain. So, this usually has been treated from factory to have a certain stiffness that it's supposed to come with, right? And what you're doing is, by chopping and re-welding, and you're sending heat into areas that weren't supposed to have heat, and what you're doing is making this either a lot weaker, or it won't perform correctly, or it could be dangerous, because then you can kind of figure out for yourself how that can kind of be a bad idea. You're messing then with the properties. It's effectively like saying, hey, here's a spring, let's heat the spring up to shorten it. Yeah, then you're also going to have a higher fracture rate, and that's what this can do. One of you in the comments, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, they ain't heat treated this fine. Well, good for you, mate. You go ahead and do that. I'm avoiding that, because you're messing with the fundamental properties that this beam was supposed to have, and always was supposed to have. Unless you do, like, go ahead, I ain't your fucking dad, you do it. We don't need to take him out all the way. Now, this is usually the point where you usually slide in your Brown and Gammons or camber plates that would go in there if you want to be full bad boy mode. If you want to be sensible like myself, we're only going to go for a little bit of even that, just a little bit. All we want is that much there. So when you go to do this and you put the 2 in the bottom, you might find that this can sometimes tow the car in. Now some people correct that by adding 1 just here in the top, and now usually some people would do that if you're like running tons, like more than that. You could have as much tow as you want coming out, but what's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where it's unstable under acceleration, it's unstable under braking, but it's awesome in turn in. Now what we want is it to be stable on acceleration, stable on braking, and reasonably good with turn in and, well, turn out. So that's why you don't want it too crazy, and that's why I'm going to get it on an alignment, and I'm going to see how it is rather than just eyeballing it alone. So okay, so I used some needle nose pliers, and holding the hub open with, well, the camera hand, you just post them in up the top, slide the bolt in, wind the bolt into the hub once it's on the threads, and yeah, I'm just going to tighten it all up now, back to spec. Also, I'm sorry about the lighting, it is currently winter in the UK, and we only get like 4 hours of sunlight now. So for those of you who are doing this, so the torque ratings for the back of these, I would double check your Heinz manual, but from what I remember, it is 65 Newton meters for the drum variants of these, and for the ones with discs, it is 90 Newton meters. I don't know why there's two different torque specs. Maybe it's due to the weight of them or something, but that's what I've been told, so that's what I'm going to do. On? Yep. 90,000 miles! We've arrived. Variety of cars here. There is an MX-5. There's actually a Yaris, an MX-5, another MX-5, an MX-5, an MX-5. Yeah, there is an MR2 there, but there's also another MX-5. MGZ.
Yep. To the right. Left. Right. Left. Keep left.
Left, yep.
Round. To the right.
Go, go, go on.
Right, to the right.
Okay, when you're ready.
Ready?
Okay, round.
Thank you.
Go. Round the left. Wrong. Left the wrong way.
I didn't. Car. Oh, that was really good. I got very tail happy there. 51.3.
51.3. Got him.
Yes. Fuck, I hit a cone there.
5.1 and a cone.
Yep.
2.1.
I fucking nailed that cone there. We need to do to try and improve our faster times is taking our crack pipe. 30, 31, 32. Well, this side is good now, but the other side was at 40 psi. Yeah. Ooh, we were so fucking close then. We're in! We're in! Thank you! Of course, as soon as I start recording, the wind. Okay, so I've now gone and cleaned the car. Tow out work. Yes, it did. It did work. It was a lot better. It wanted to actually move, because you got to remember, what we care about is speed and going fast and taking the combs quicker. But from factory, this has to be set up in such a way so even Barbara can drive it to Sainsbury's on a Sunday afternoon and to church, and that's what this is for. All we care about is speed. So these were thicker from factory, but they left the mounts in the rear, which you should see there, the mounts in the rear. So we can fit an anti-roll bar in there to stiffen this up so we can get some more rotation, because that's all we really need for next event. We'll make one of those up. The scratch on that side isn't that bad. I mean, look, there's marks all over it there, and over there, and there, and there. Subscribe, please.